Hello, beautiful YouTube family. Back today with a message that I was basically already receiving last night. So last night I sat outside. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous evening. It was really nice out. The moon was out and it was beautiful and all the stars were visible. So I sat outside just to kind of connect with the moon's energy. And I was really loving actually how the moon was shining right onto all of my new little plants that I had just bought that are ready to go into the garden. And I sat there sort of pondering things, and all of a sudden, all this like downloading and channeling started to pour through, and it was crazy. There was just so much information coming through, so many aha moments and like realizations. It was like literally blowing my mind. It was crazy. So wrote some of that down and definitely wanted to share that with you guys today. It is May 31st. It is the last day of this month, and it is definitely a time for us to prepare basically for the second half of this year, because if you really consider June 1st is basically the first day of the second half of this year. So there's a lot to kind of look at and a lot to think about and a lot to process and assess actually for the second half of the year. So today is a really opportune and excellent day energetically to do a little bit of reevaluation. So I've made some notes here about the different things that came through in terms of energy that's currently present and what's happening for us, and how this full moon, which I already made a video about yesterday, but how the full moon is going to be affecting us coming up on June the 3rd in the sign of Sagittarius at 13 degrees. This is all the stuff I'm going to share today is kind of like the prelude to that. So it's about aligning yourself now and preparing certain things before the full moon actually hits. So with today's energy, there's a huge push to rewrite patterns. I was getting such a big message about that, about how we're collectively, actually, humanity is collectively rewriting patterns at this time. We are going through this process of shedding the old parts of ourselves, which I've talked about in many previous videos, but this energy is so amplified. It's so here for us right now, and it's so on right now that we have to really pay attention to this. There's tons of signs and synchronicities and messages that we're all receiving constantly, right? If you really think about it, about all kinds of different changes that are coming into our lives. We just need to be able to discern those messages. We have to be able to learn to read those messages and see what they're actually trying to tell us or what direction they're guiding us into, because we're all being guided right now. Like this rewriting of patterns that I was getting, that I was channeling, like this, I was being shown this scenario of how humanity basically is energetically being upgraded right now. So our DNA is being upgraded, our minds, our thought patterns are being upgraded in a huge way. And if you look at the last 2 to 3 years that we have had, that we've gone through with the pandemic and everything that's happened, these last 2, 3 years have been a massive push for purging. So we've had like huge purging energy, and this energy has been all about releasing. It has been collectively, humanity has been shedding pain, suffering, trauma, emotional burdens, codependency, all kinds of very negative aspects of humanity emotionally has been purged, has been shed, and has been being pushed out for the last like 3 years. And this, if you think about it, and divine timing, actually, there was something about divine timing I was receiving a message about last night, of how incredibly perfect divine timing is, and divine order, not just the timing, but the order of things and the way in which things play out. It was like fucking blowing my mind last night. Like I was just getting such a visual on how, and just this overwhelming feeling of how everything truly always works out for us in the best possible way and at the best possible time as well. So even the pandemic, coming and hitting the last 3 years and giving us actually this huge opportunity to release, to heal, to purge, to pause, to take some time out. This has all been preparing us for the time that is upon us now, the time that is here now with the full moon coming up next week, and the energy it brings, and like Jupiter in the North Node conjuncting right now, like this is huge energy. Some of this stuff has not been around since like I believe Jupiter and North Node conjuncted like this last time in 1929. Like this was a long time ago, not even in my lifetime yet, right? Because I wasn't alive in 1929. So, and I'm sure many of you watching probably were also not alive in 1929. So this is energy that's here for us, that is giving us this opportunity to let go of such heavy and difficult situations that we've been carrying, like I said, as a collective, as humanity. And also, hello, love. Oh, a dove just flew like right here. It's like 4 feet away from me. Um, but collectively, like it's there's this purge, and see, even the dove is so symbolic of like the peace that is coming in for us right now, the peace that is here and available in this beautiful upgrade into this high vibrational energy of love and abundance and prosperity and equality for all. Like this is the energy that is on the rise, that is here for us, that is pushing us to let go of the past, of the heaviness of the past, and our history. You know, our history is so burdened with so much pain and suffering, and this is what we are collectively releasing right now. And some of us are actually individually releasing massive amounts of karma for family, like family karma. I was getting a major message about that last night, and like a huge realization. And actually my grandmother came through and was like giving me some messages and some guidance as well, and showing me, and she was actually kind of congratulating me and telling me what a good job that I've been doing, and how I've been really focused on working so hard to like shed so many difficulties that my family has experienced, and so much suffering that my family has gone through, and just the feeling that came through was just like, you know, my grandma just kind of letting me know that she was incredibly proud of me for breaking these generational cycles and like karmic cycles that, like I said, my family has been through. It's crazy. So excuse me, some people are going to be uh, generational karma breakers. Okay, so some of us are here for that. I now identify myself as that. I didn't realize before, but through the process of awakening, I've now come to understand that I am one of those people in my family. So it's kind of a heavy burden to carry, but it's not necessarily a burden actually, because now I'm looking at it again, perception shifting. I'm perceiving it in a very different way. And as I sat outside last night and had this like telepathic conversation with my grandmother on the other side, there was this beautiful feeling of like a knowing and an understanding of, yes, this has been so difficult. It has been so hard to break these cycles within myself so that I can break it for my entire family and for my lineage. However, I like chose this and I selected this life for this purpose because I'm ready for it. And I'm just one of those people that is capable of doing this for my family. And so instead of it feeling like a burden, it has now transitioned into feeling like a reward, to be honest. It feels more like, oh my God, like I'm capable of this. And I was the one chosen, you know, by my spirit family to do this work and to go through this process and release all this heaviness for my family, and to truly understand forgiveness and to embody forgiveness and share that with them and show them and teach them and show my family members that, you know, forgiveness is a beautiful thing and that we can all grow from that, and that pain and suffering doesn't have to continue. It's merely a choice, you know, to repeat those same actions and to repeat those same patterns. And that's why there's this push to rewrite patterns at this time. Like for you, you know, think about your own family and your own life, and what kind of potentially karmic generational issues you're breaking in your family. Are you that person? Do you, or can you identify someone perhaps in your family that is that person who perseveres, man, who keeps pushing through and keeps overcoming and overcoming and overcoming? Because that's what it takes to break these karmic cycles, especially when they're generational. So there's an upgrading, a replacing, a revamping, a reevaluating that is happening at this time. And this is all having to do with our behavior. So it's upgrading our behavior, replacing certain habits within our behavior, revamping it, and reevaluating, like very honestly looking and assessing at the things that we do, the actions we take, the things that we say, and really questioning whether, those things are positive. Are they pushing and nurturing my life, forward in a positive way, or are they holding me back? Are they preventing me from feeling confident? Are they preventing me from taking action, right action? Are they preventing me from being able to organize and prioritize my life in such a way where I'm always aligning myself to the things that really matter for me? So there's huge upgrade energy happening, and this is all internal. It's all happening within us, within our minds, especially too. There's just a lot of mind energy and mental energy happening at this time, especially with this full moon. I'm really feeling perception. Like I just keep hearing that word, perception. Like that is a major thing that is shifting for us at this time. And you're going to, I think, notice, many of us are going to notice that you're just going to feel differently, because you're going to look at things differently moving forward after this full moon, and even coming up to the full moon. There's also this energy of clearing the deck for the new month. So because it is the 31st today and we begin a brand new month tomorrow, it is also very important to clear the deck, right? For next month, for tomorrow, or beginning tomorrow. And it's a great time to set some intentions for the next month. I'm definitely going to be journaling on my intentions today. I want to write down just a couple of things. Don't have to make it complicated. Just write a few things down for yourself that, intentions that you want to set. For me personally, sorry guys, something's in my eye. For me personally, it's going to be wrapping up certain projects. There's definitely some big like renovations and different things that I'm looking to kind of get done this month. Oh my gosh, sorry, something's really in my left eye. So I'm definitely going to be focusing on that, getting things, just anything that's kind of looming over my head. And that's something I wrote down as well here. So clearing the deck for the new month, leaving behind what's holding you back, and making space. So making space for new things to come into our lives. We allow new things to come into our lives by purging out the old. This is old ways of thinking, old habits, old items and things around the house that have just been kind of really sitting there, but you haven't made use of it, or you don't really see yourself making use of it anytime soon. It's okay. Post those things, sell them, give them away, donate them, like do whatever you need to do to create space. You're creating energetic space in your life when you are able to get rid of things that are not serving you, right? Or that are just not serving a purpose in your life at this time. Anything that doesn't serve a purpose in your life, whether that's the way that you think, how you feel, the things that you do, whatever, stuff, items, what people, situations, work, whatever, anything that is not serving your life at this time is so much easier to fall away. Like it's just going to be so much easier to purge and to shed those things. There's this natural inclination within us, a feeling within us that we want to release, we want to let go. So it'll just be so much easier to do that at this time. Upgrade energy. So major downloads, which I already kind of mentioned. I was already getting some downloads last night, but like major downloads are kind of coming in at this time. So clarity and focus and mental sharpness and like those kind of things are going to be also very helpful, right? To help stay on track, just to keep the antenna nice and clean and open and allow information to come in and to flow through you. So again, meditation, I will never, ever, ever stop talking about meditation, and I will never not promote it because it is so incredibly useful. And I think actually at this time, you might find that you're more inclined to want to meditate. You're going to have more of a desire to connect to that higher power, or connect to yourself on a deeper level, to go within, to listen to your feelings and certain thoughts that are going on within you, so that you can assess and look at it in a very honest way. That will definitely be, I've noticed that for myself. I just naturally want to sit in silence more, tuning out of like social media more, and just making sure that There's more quietness, like I'm craving quietness within myself. Like I don't really, I find myself not wanting to watch necessarily as many like videos. Certainly not the type of videos that are just like for entertainment purposes, right? Like where you're just kind of mindlessly scrolling, you know, funny stuff or memes or whatever. Um, that stuff I'm definitely feeling right now. I just need to stop and push that stuff out and just create space and quietness within myself. So, because there's just so much coming through, and like that's what I want to hear. I want to know what wants to come through. I want solutions. I want, you know, things that are going to propel me forward. And in order to hear those messages, I got to quiet my mind. Um, our DNA, so upgrade energy and major downloads I was talking about. So our DNA and mind is actually getting a massive upgrade as well at this time. So how you think is going to be revamped pretty significantly. I've already noticed within myself how I'm looking at things, a lot of things actually very, very differently. How I'm looking at my own life, how I'm looking at money, my relationship to money, certain shortcomings and certain things within myself that I felt as shortcomings are now being perceived differently. I see them more as like, oh, okay, that's just something I can change. And it doesn't have this like hold on me anymore. I don't feel like I can't change certain things within myself. I feel this freedom and this liberation to be able to change a lot more and a lot easier within myself at this time. So keep that in mind, that you are literally physically, like your cells, your DNA is upgrading, it is changing, it is becoming a higher frequency, a higher vibration. It is also being recalibrated to such a point where it's aligning us more with natural foods, natural products, natural things. Like there's just, you may notice an innate craving to spend more time in nature, to really pay attention more to eating organic foods, or starting a keto diet, or starting intermittent fasting, or things like that. Like there's just going to be this natural desire to do these things as we go through this upgrading at this time. Because this energy is all about alignment, guys. Like that's what it really comes down to, is that we are aligning. We are finally aligning. And all of this purging that we've been doing for these last 3 years have been all about bringing us to this point, to this alignment point. It's like we had to shed all of that old. We had to shed all of that heaviness so that we could have this, like I said, space and this clarity to allow this fresh new beginning. Because like we've been talking about new beginning energy for most of this year. This year, 2023, is definitely a massive change year, right? There's so much transforming, so much changing, and we are transforming at such a deep level within ourselves that it's like I said, it's completely realigning everything. How you eat, how you sleep, how you work, how you function, how you have sex, everything is being realigned at this time. Everything. There's just more of a desire for us to connect more intimately. There's more of a desire for people to be more authentic. Like authenticity is hugely on the rise at this time, which I'll mention in a moment. So major perception shifts, personally and collectively. Telling yourself a different story. This is something that came up as last night for me as well when I was channeling, and it was like literally mind blowing. I was getting this like visual of like a complete rewriting of my story, and how my story up until now has been like one story, and I feel like book 2 is starting for me right now. It's not even a different chapter. There's like a second book of my life starting, and this book is up to me of how I'm going to write that and what I'm going to write in this book. And it looks completely, oh my God, it was like a completely brand new story for myself. It's nothing like what the first book is of my life, which is like the first 40 years of my life essentially. So start telling yourself a different story, because we're now going to be writing that story for ourselves into existence, into embodiment. And we are going to start experiencing that now, because the North Node being conjuncted by Jupiter is expanding the story that you tell yourself. So is the story positive? Is it negative? Be very careful and very mindful of that, because you are going to expand whatever it is you keep focusing on and giving your attention to. Yesterday's video was about focus and attention, and how your attention is worth gold, which it truly is. check out that video. Or I'll link it up here, and then you guys can check that video out as well. So when it comes to, like I was saying about the story and stuff, so there was this analogy that I was getting last night, this visual of, you know how if there's like this board with all these like different holes in it, right? And you take like a bucket of marbles and you just kind of pour it across this flat surface that's filled with holes. Well, what are those marbles going to do? Those marbles are going to fall into the holes, right? And the visual that I got was like energetically, the same thing is happening for us at this time. So we are being slotted into the right holes, into the right place, and not holes like holes metaphorically, right? But like the hole was really representing actually energetic timelines. They were representing energetic, like portals, basically, that we are now aligning with and aligning to. And we're aligning by making these changes with the purge, with shifting our perception. So all of this prep work, everything that I'm talking about in this video is all bringing us into alignment and slotting us into the correct holes, meaning into the correct timelines, into the correct life purpose and life path that we are supposed to be walking on, because everything that we've experienced up until this point is now being reevaluated. Like, you know, do I want to continue my life the way I've been living it? Does that still work for me? And most of us are recognizing that it doesn't. So we're now making this choice to make these changes in our lives that are going to now align us with the appropriate timeline, with the appropriate life purpose and life mission. So we're being aligned in like a huge way. Huge. This is like so much bigger than we can even put into words, to be honest, guys. Like, it's huge. So now that we are at this halfway point within this year, I was also getting a visual of a map. So this is a time to map out the second half of the year for yourself, and take some time today before this second half of the year starts tomorrow. Take some time today or tonight. It's going to be a lovely evening. So if you have a chance and you can, you know, maybe sit outside tonight and with your journal and just kind of in your mind map out the second half of this year. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to close out this year that is going to be just such a weight off your shoulders or off your heart or off your chest? What kind of projects, situations, situationships, circumstances, work, kid stuff, family stuff, like what kind of things do you need to wrap up or to close out? What kind of cycles do you need to close out at this time? For many of us, cycles are already naturally closing out and things are just sort of naturally unfolding and pushing us in the direction to close things out. But we also have free will, and we also have certain things that we have to choose to close out, that we have to choose to finish, to wrap up and take care of, so that we can, it's again, release. It's about creating space, and it's about just purging out like heaviness, like really allowing yourself to be unburdened. That's the word I was looking for, to be unburdened. And that's really the purpose of doing this. So take conscious note of what you need to close out and what you need to release yourself from, so that you can feel, you know, just free, like you can breathe, like you can finally like move past this situation, or you can finally like push this thing off your plate because it's done. Oh my God, perhaps something that you've been procrastinating on, particularly actually things that we have been procrastinating on are the things that we are now being asked. That's why I was getting this like map out the second half of the year visual and energy, because this is a good, really, really good time. And it's very important that we close out certain things so that we really free ourselves emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually to get onto mission. everything, guys, comes down to mission. It's like the universe is just pushing all of us to get into mission, to align with ourselves, align with our authenticity, align with who we truly are so that we can do what we came here to do, which is to fulfill some type of mission. And the mission that you fulfill is usually one that is fulfilling for you. So it's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel aligned. It's going to make you feel connected, not only to yourself really deeply, but also to Source, Creator, to this natural world, to the planet. So map out the second half of this year. Write a list of the things that you need to really get off your plate and that you have been wanting to get off your plate, but perhaps have been procrastinating about or scared to tie up. What's looming over your head? Take action to release it. Examining your beliefs. How and what are you lying to yourself about? That was also coming up. And Spirit was like asking me to take a good, hard, solid look. What are you lying to yourself about? What is it that you still are perceiving incorrectly and in a negative way? Anything that doesn't feel good, we are perceiving negatively. Coming into full authenticity and awareness, there's an expansion, a willingness, and a desire to be seen and heard. And this is collective. I felt this as a collective energy. We are all desiring to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be treated fairly. There's a huge thing here. I kept seeing Libra scales. So there's huge emphasis here on fairness and on equality and bringing things back into balance, bringing things back into harmony. This is what we're doing right now. This is work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of spiritual, emotional, physical work, mental work to, do that, to bring ourselves back into alignment. Because let's face it, like, man, we've been off alignment for a long time as a collective and personally for each of us individually. Dropping codependency. So shedding people, shedding situations, shedding anything that you are codependent with. That is also being massively highlighted. Also, we're also being asked to purge that out as well. And if you need some if you need some help because you're having issues with codependency, then definitely hit me up. Like, this is what I do. I support people to work through different things that you're having, a hard time seeing clearly, things that you're just not necessarily finding the solutions to. Like, this is what I do. I talk to people and I present perceptions and viewpoints that you would perhaps never even thought of. And these viewpoints and these perceptions are always channeled. This is always stuff that comes through me. I've said it before on this channel and I'll say it probably many more times. I'm a vessel for spirit. I am merely an open vessel and I just take in what spirit guides through me and it just comes out my mouth. That's what I do. That's what this is. So if you need help with that, the link is in the description box to book a one-on-one session with me. And the shortest session you can book is 30 minutes, up to 2 hours is the max. So 30, 60, 90, 30, 45, 60, 90, and 2-hour sessions. So if you just have like one question, we could do 30 minutes. But yeah, so I'm here. If you need to talk, if you need some clarity, some awareness right now, then I can certainly help you out with that. So dropping codependency, like I said, and then the very last thing I wrote was self-care. This is going to be continuously the number one thing, the most important thing that we need to continue working on collectively. It's like, without self-care, we cannot have balance. So this is something that deeply needs to be understood in order for everything I just said to happen and for us to be able to accomplish these goals and to really be able to set forth motion in these areas. We have to continue doing self-care, self-love. Only worry about yourself. Only think about the things that you need to sort out in your own life and fix or bring back into harmony and balance. And don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about other people's shit or drama. Don't worry about what they want of you, what their expectations of you. Remember, we're dropping codependency here. So this energy is all about us reclaiming our personal power, reclaiming our personal love and connection to ourselves so that we can come into full alignment and get slotted into the right appropriate portals and timelines for our highest and best good. So that is what we have to keep going forward with. Take some time out today for sure to connect to yourself, to set some intentions, to figure out what you want to wrap up within the next 6 months. Like, what are some things that absolutely have to be cleared off the deck within the next 6 months? Think about that, make a list of it, and then create an action plan of how you're going to go about banging every single one of those things out off of your list so you can get it done and wrapped up. That's it for today. That is the message for this last beautiful day of May. And I hope that it gives you some insight and some answers as to how to move forward, what is really happening. I hope it provided some clarity for you. Please hit a like and subscribe button on your way out, and keep an eye out for my next video, and definitely hit the little bell notification as well so that you can get notified when I post again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for being here, for tuning in, and I will see you all back here tomorrow on June the 1st. Take care.